And we're live. Okay, so not live, but it's recording. So welcome, Virgo. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. As a fellow Virgo, we're all here for that. So I don't know about you, but it's been pretty intense. Really, for the past 3 months or so. As you may know, if you have been here before, mostly I channel information. We are going to look at cards and stuff like that, but I operate as a channel. I am an empath, so, and clairvoyant, whatever it is, however spirit wants to communicate, that's what we're here for, right? So, and since I am part Italian, there's like hand action going on. So, you know, we're just doing what we're doing. So the reason why I bring up about spirit is because when I started reading, I am not really in charge of what it is that is going on. I do what spirit says, and meaning that, like, if I'm going to use this deck, if I'm going to use runes, if I'm going to, whatever it is. Once I started reading, I'm not in charge of what the method of divination is or how things are going to work out. So, that being said, spirit is here and ready. So, what I am being told here is that, as a collective, we've been going through a lot of changes. Really, things have started kind of, the way that I want to describe it is things are perking up really since the last 6 months. So apparently, as a group, it's like we've been trying to make things happen, get things done, like being on the ball, you know what I mean? And so it just seems like there has been a lot of confusion, right? And we're not just talking about like my life. We're talking about like as a collective that there has been a lot of confusion, a lot of kind of like stop and go, start, go, stop, should I do this, should I do that, all this kind of like drama going on, right? However, there is a lot of planetary activity going on in the sky these days, and I don't have things in front of me. I'm not an astrologer. I usually say like I know enough to be dangerous, and I do follow a lot of different astrology channels, so I'm aware that there's there's a lot of kind of, I don't know, it's like there's a lot of positive aspects that are happening these days for us as a collective. The things that I've been seeing talk about a lot of opportunities, potential for like traveling, things like that, right? There can be people coming back around, from their past and stuff like that. And, which I think that sometimes that can happen at any given time, right? So I don't really like to talk about things in terms of vagueness, and I'm not really a fan of like platitudes, things like that. So we're just going to kind of jump in, and we're going to see what kind of messages. Funny, High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. We're going to see what spirit has to say for us, to us, about us, things happening in our favor, things that can be holding us back, whatever it is. All right, this is what we're here for, right? So first we're going to look at what the general kind of energies are about, what's kind of, see what's happening. In the meantime, if you like this channel, please click like, subscribe, share. This isn't really a big time period about celebration for us. So, it's interesting because the Three of Cups usually would talk about some sort of a celebration happening over the course of the next 3 months, right? But this feels to me like this is something that is more related to the past and things that have been trying to happen. What did we just say, right? Like over the last 3 months, right? And now this card is showing up. So things have been trying to happen here for the last 3 months. And so we're at this period here, which is a combination of energies and things getting ready to manifest for us. And Spirit says that things are going to happen in a big boom, right? So whatever it is that means, hopefully it is not hopefully it is not like a literal sort of explosion, right? But we'll see what's happening here. Sometimes when Spirit says something, it is very literal. So, or at least when they say things through me. So we're gonna see. Spirit says that if you're having questions about relationship issues, right, that, unless there are glaring red flags showing up, right, this is not necessarily the right time to be kind of making big kind of endings and things like that, right? This is not really a time period where you should really be blowing things up, because Spirit is telling me that with what it is that is happening astrologically right now, there can be a lot of confusion, there can be a lot of illusion going on, there can be a lot of just well, I think that they mean this, but I'm not really sure. This is what it feels like to me, right? But it's not necessarily true, right? And we're not saying to you that you shouldn't trust your feelings, that you can't trust your feelings, right? But sometimes where things are happening, there can be kind of a sense of illusion. There can be a sense of not really being on them. They can wires being crossed. That's what they're trying to tell me. So it's you could be feeling one thing, but the thing that you're feeling may not necessarily be it may not necessarily be from the person that you think that it's from, right? Especially if you operate in the world as an empath, right? It's so, right? So this is you, this is the person that you're trying to connect to, right? However, you could very well be getting information about this person over here rather than they want to call it the intended victim, right? The intended victim meaning the person that you think that you're going to be breaking up with, right? And instead of it being this person, right, the one that you're in the relationship with, it really should be a person over here that, somebody that is your friend or something like that, so that you think is your friend, right? They could be having, they may not necessarily be your friend. So, just kind of wait until things become more clear, right? And so that may happen more so over the course of the next few weeks. We are heading into a Mercury retrograde, which the word that I want to use is things can be kind of gnarly right now, right? Mercury retrograde is not happening exactly right now. However, we are in the shadow phase, right? Which means it's I'm not even really 100% sure what shadow phase means, except that I just know that like it's the impending feeling about like when Mercury actually stations to go retrograde, right? It's like we're moving in on that. And so we may be starting to feel the effects of the retrograde, even though the retrograde is not actually here, right? It's like when we have a full moon, right, or a new moon, right, it's like we can feel the effects of that really like 3 days before, 3 days after, right? The intensity of the thing. Although, what I'm learning with astrology is that things that happen under a full moon or a new moon, they can have longer ranging effects, like for like weeks and months and things like that. So, I'm really getting into a place where I really want to start like studying astrology really more intensely, right? So we'll see what's happening. So I was going to pass this by. The moon card was sitting down the bottom, right? And the moon card is a lot about things being hidden, right? So things that are not thin, it's obscurity, it's a nighttime, right? So things are not always as they appear, right? And especially with the Two of Wands sitting down the bottom, twos are about relationships, right? So things are not really being clear right now, right? So it is important that you're trusting your instincts, right? But it's like we want to say, even though you have these instincts, these feelings about things going on, right? The parties that you are having the feelings about may not necessarily be clear, right? So wait until you're clear about wait until you're clear about um, who, what, where, why, when, right? The 5 Ws, investigated reporting, things like that, right? So, like I said, unless things are really like glaring, then we'll see. All right. So, Eight of Swords is a card that usually talks in another deck that I use. This is a card about interference, right? And but clearly, this person here, right? Their eyes are covered; they're not really able to see. This is a card that is a lot about somebody who is self-imposed, like acts of like sabotage, self-imposed like restraint, right? Thinking it's sword, so it's like somebody that can't really um somebody that doesn't really like think things clearly, stuff like that, right? But um the Eight of Swords to me is a lot about making decisions that overwhelm you, right? So when you look at this card, right, it's like this woman can easily get out of the situation that she's in, right? So it's like all she has to do is kind of wriggle a little bit, and those binds can come off of her and can get out of the, this is something that's trapped by their thoughts, right? So she can take that mask off if she chooses to. She's choosing not to, right? So if you're in this place here about self-imposed restriction, right, it's up to you to make the decisions about what it is that you want to do, right? If there is some sort of interference going on, right, and you're not, and you may not really want to see what the interference is, right? So, and the Emperor card is a lot about control issues, right? This can bring up things related to authority figures, stuff like that, right? Technically, the Emperor card can be related to like a father energy, things like that, right? But the Emperor is a lot about control. So we want to think about whatever the control person, whoever the control people are around your life, right? And this looks like you're trying to move forward here in terms of like whatever your job, your career, stuff like that is about, right? again, it's like there's a lot that goes on here about like building wealth. Eight of Pentacles is a card that can be connected to like stepping stones, things like that. It talks about needing to be kind of like focused around what it is that you want to manifest, right? Sun is here, so things that you're moving towards, right? There is going to be more clarity. The Eight of Pentacles, when it shows up, usually tells me about whatever it is that you're trying to manifest in your life, put things into action over the course of the next 8 weeks. So basically the next 2 months, right? Because things have more of an ability to manifest. The sun is about like clarity, it's healing. It does bring up things trying to manifest, right? It brings up like summertime, things like that, right? And but this does tell me that things are getting ready to kind of, light up in the sky, right? So I forgot to say this, right? But generally when I do these readings, we like to have things be a little bit more like focused for over the course of the next like week, right? So today it's 1:53 in the morning, right? So today is December 4th, right? It's after midnight, so it's December 4th, 2023. So let's say over the next 7 days, that would make it like the 11th, right? So, but Spirit has their own idea about how things are going to happen, right? So they are talking about how even though this is meant to be over this next week, right, you're trying to be in control of things, right? The way that you're going to be in control is to be more focused around whatever it is that you're doing. Technically, Pentacles can be related to money and finances, right? But it's really whatever it is that you're working on, right? Whatever seeds you're trying to plant here, right? They want you to be more clear about what it is that you want to have happen around your life as well, right? But they are telling me that the sun means that when we get into the summertime, that things are going to be really like so much better, right? Like intensely better, actually. They're telling me that there are a lot of things here that are trying to manifest for you, about you, right? There can be a lot of like worry going on around here, right? And the more you worry, the more you're keeping things away, right? And the worry that you have going on is really being useless, right? Sorry, it is what it is, right? Worry has never accomplished anything. Worry is a fear-based situation. So, because you do have the Chariot card here, the Chariot is about being able to move forward, right? So it's like you're sitting here with this like Eight of Swords, right, being stuck, but it's you that is like being stuck from moving your own self forward, right? Um, trust issues going on, right? Trust issues around like authority figures, right? It's like, and also trust issues around like your own power as well, right? So because the Emperor card is not necessarily, sometimes it can be about whoever your authority figures are, right? But sometimes it's about your own authority over your own life, right? So, um, a lot of times when I see the Two of Swords, right, it is a card that talks about like separation, right? So if somebody is trying to control you, manipulate you, things like that, right? Like I said, if there are glaring things going on around your life, then it is time for you to be doing something about it, right? However, when I do these readings, right, it's like there's 5 cards across, right? These 2 rows are more related to the past. This is where you're at, and this is where you're heading. So this to me would say that you could probably already have like done some sort of a separation from people trying to control you. where you may have been like stuck and now you're sitting here and moving forward around your life. Right? Persistence is paying off. The Seven of Wands is a card that is about persistence. It's a card that can come up connected to conflict around things. It has a lot to do with you kind of like making a stand about things, right? It's a lot about like a lot of things coming at you right now, right? Or, well, yeah, in the present time, it can talk about a lot of things coming at you, right? And just really having to stand your ground in terms of the things that you're looking for, right? It's like, Spirit says it's like, if you know, you know, right? And it's important for you to be clear and honest about the things that you know for real, right? So, because the information I'm getting here is that Spirit is like telling you things, right? So, whether this is coming at you psychically, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, right? The Spirit is giving you this information and you know it with every fiber of your being, right? Like there are things happening in my life and it's like they haven't necessarily manifested at the present time, but I know to the core of my being that these things are happening, right? So it's like I just kind of go with it and, act as if, and I just, one step in front of, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other, right? You do have the Wheel of Fortune, which does talk about unexpected things happening, right? There's a lot of karmic events here. This card is ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter is about luck. It is connected to whatever is happening, like spiritually in your life as well. Jupiter allows things to be like bigger, right? And all right, so let's talk about it. So you have the Devil card here, right? The Devil is about, the Devil card can be connected to obsession, right? Can be a lot about like power struggles, things like that, right? These two people here have the chains around their neck, right? Again, it's another card that is about like self-imposed things, right? It's self-imposed limitations and restrictions. It's a lot about temptation, things like that, right? But it's like it's something that with the Sun card here, right? There is going to be clarity that comes up here connected to this, right? There's going to be healing that is connected to this. So if you are in a place about addiction, right? Things, cycles, right? That's the Wheel of Fortune is a lot about cycles, right? And you've been really like focusing here around getting off of the merry-go-round, right? Getting off of the things that go round and round and round, right? Things are going to become more clear. There is going to become more healing around these things, right? So you are going to manifest a way out of your situation, right? So that's like good news, right? And because this woman that I used to work with, she used to say, the sun means better days are coming, right? So sometimes when I see cards like that are sitting in future positions, right? They are things that are connected to the past, right? So if you've been in places about like addiction and like power struggles and things like that, right? It's one of those situations about do not think that you're going to, don't think that you have to like stay in those cycles, right? It's like if you keep thinking that those things are going to happen, then you manifest those for yourself, right? So this is a time period that is really up to you to decide what it is that you want to manifest, right? This is why you have the Sun here. This is why you have the Emperor card here, right? We collective Virgo, right? We are in a position here of control about what it is that we want to have happen. There is more clarity coming around us, right? And better things are sitting here trying to happen for us. So, like, good, right? Queen of Swords says, to be clear, right? It's there is clarity coming up here, right? But the Queen of Swords, sometimes you have to be like very clear about what it is that you want to have happen, right? Queen of Swords is about Athena, right? Athena is she's a goddess of war, but it's like it's more about she is a goddess of strategy, right? So it's like it's a lot about like letting go of like old ideas, right? She's here, she's using her sword in the hand is outstretched, right? So this is a very welcoming card, but she is about like kind of cutting things out, right? That like cutting out like old belief systems, things that no longer work for you, right? We have the chariot card here, which is related to the sign of Cancer. There can be a lot of emotions being run very high here, right? However, it's the chariot card, so it is about moving forward, right? It's moving. It's this guy. I mean, he's leaving this city, right? He's leaving the city behind him. He's going off on his adventures. It's kind of about victory. It's balance, right? We have the white, we have the black, right? It's like, so there is a sense of like balance around like emotions, right? And balance around like your ideas moving forward in a more clear way, right? And so, and that's because things are being cut out, right? But it's like you have to make the decision. You have to be, sometimes it's like we have to be in this place about tactics, right? How are we going to tactically move forward, right, on our own plan for our life, right? We don't want the emperor sitting here trying to control us, right? And spirit is telling me that um sometimes we have these voices in our head, right, from the past, right, from our parents, from our father, from our mother, from society, right? We have these things in our head that says, oh, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, right? That is not necessarily true. We are in a place right now about raising our vibration, right? Um, so I've been talking about this a little bit more lately, especially because it's manifesting in my life and like really intensely manifesting in my life. So I wasn't really giving it a lot of credence. But, some people talk about, you know, raising your vibration, going to like, what do they call it? Like 5D, right? We're in 3D, the time we're going to 5D. Sometimes people talk about things in terms of like a different timeline, stuff like that, right? And I'm like, I don't care what you call it, right? However, it is that you are experiencing something in your life, then it's up to you to believe that that is what it is going on, right? In my own life, just as an example, right? In my own life, I do not see things happening for me beyond Tuesday, tomorrow, right? And I was like, why can I not see that? Right? It's like I see myself moving forward, and then Tuesday hits, and then it's kind of like going off in a different direction, stuff like that, right? And it's like what I have got, the message that I have gotten from spirit is that I am raising my vibration and going on a different kind of like a timeline. Like so a lot of major changes trying to happen around here, right? Being in a place of about abundance trying to happen in my life, and not trying to happen, but it is happening. So you may very well be experiencing the same thing, right? And I think that this is something that is happening astrologically. Yes, I have been putting a lot of energy towards this, meditating every day. And I'm a Reiki master, so I do Reiki on myself every day. And so there are a lot of things I do. I do a lot of journaling to get more clarity. Spirit speaks to me through journaling. So I think that's always a good thing if you can like journal, or if you do journal. I think that's like a very important part of being connected to spirit, being connected to your own like inner voice. I mean, so 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 yes, like I do all of this stuff, right? However, I do know all other people here who this is happening for, that do not necessarily do these things, right? So, but this is the way that this is like playing out here, right? Is that we're moving forward, we're moving away from people that are trying to control us, right? We are being clear about who we are, what it is that we want, right? It's making big decisions here, right? About like separating from people, right? Separating from people who are trying to control us, trying to manipulate us, right? Whether those voices are in our head, right? Because what happens is that if you're coming from this place where, as children, and people try to control and manipulate and whatever through their words, right? Telling you like narcissist type people, things like that, right? And then you get away from them, though that noise can still be in your head, right? So you have to make a decision to let go of those lies, right? So, because right now, right, as you're sitting here and things are trying to manifest for you, right, which when you really need to stop saying like trying to manifest, can we like stop using the word try? Like Yoda, there's either do or don't do, right? So there, as you're sitting here trying to move, like as you're sitting here moving yourself forward and things are manifesting for you in your life, thank you very much, right? There can be situations, people, places, things coming at you, they can cause you to question, right? They can cause you to question your place in where it is that you're trying to get to, or where you are getting to. Right? It is important for you to stay steadfast. I was doing a reading for somebody earlier today, and I was explaining to them that the way to build self-esteem is to do esteemable things. And a big way to build self-esteem is to believe in you, right? Believe in yourself, believe in your ground, right? Yes, there are all of these things that are coming at this guy, but he is defending his stance, right? Spirit also wants to remind us that no is a complete sentence, right? You do not have to negotiate your truth, right? Where you are getting to, where you are heading, where your vision is at, you don't have to negotiate that with other people, right? You move forward, you stay focused, there will be more clarity that comes in around you, right? That is helping you to overcome your obstacles, right? It's helping you to overcome your power struggles. Right? The Devil card is related to addiction, right? But it is also power struggles, right? So this is all about getting off of the merry-go-round where you're heading to. So I love it when we show up in our own reading. The Hermit card is ruled by the sign of Virgo. So And in the lantern here is the star, right? So this is the North Star, right? This is the star card, which is about the star to me in the tarot is about our goals, dreams, aspirations, right? This guy is sitting on top of the mountain. It means it's like we're having a higher vantage point, right? And we're sitting here talking about raising our vibration, right? So you're at the top of the mountain, right? You're there, right? You have a better view of what your goals, dreams, and aspirations are about, right? This guy, he's only guided by the lantern, right? Things are dark, guided by the lantern, only taking a few steps at a time. That's all you can see. And that's all you have to do. Put one foot in front of the other, right? Joyous things getting ready to happen. Move forward with positive emotions, right? That's what this is about, right? The Knight of Cups is a card that I use as like potential around a new boyfriend, right? But it is about, I see knights as potential, right? And so as you're moving forward here, right, we do have the wings of Mercury up here, right? So there is going to be some sort of like communication about or from um I want to call it like some form of positive emotional outcome, right? To speak in like just this is a general reading, so those are sort of like general terms, right? However, when you're looking at this, right, and we're talking about overcoming obstacles, we're talking about overcoming like things related to addiction, right? We're talking about like clarity, we're talking about healing, right? So it's giving you the ability to move forward with emotional confidence is really what that is about, right? We have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Knight of Cups. So these are both moving forward here, right? And the thing is that these two knights here, right? They are connected to potential as far as like money, finances are concerned, potential around like new emotional beginnings happening around here, right? But it's like moving forward with confidence, right? So that is really what this is like saying to you is for you to be able to move forward, letting go of these control people, letting go of these things that have been in your way, these power struggles, right? The way to let go of them is to cut things out of your life, things that no longer serve you, as they say. Be your own person, and you will be allowed to move forward here in a more, what we would call like a stronger emotional, I want to call it like a stronger emotional vibration here. So you have the Lovers card, which has a lot to do with making decisions as well, right? Being clear, like mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. This is about the conscious, subconscious, right? Being able to make decisions. This is the angel Gabriel, right? And your wishes here. So, right? And things manifesting really over the course of the next like 2 weeks here. So the Two of Wands is about letting go of things from the past, going on an adventure, right? He does have the World card in his hand, right? So there can very well be like adventures out into the world, right? Whether those things are international travel, whether you're communicating with people from international places, right? Whether they're here, like I'm in the United States, right? So whether they're here in the United States, wherever it is that you're at, right, in your country or in foreign countries, right, whether they are near you, but from other countries or other cultures, things like that, right? There can be connections with those things, right? So, all right. There's a lot of talking. Sometimes I forget to breathe. All right. when I am looking at this, right, in general terms, right, this does not appear that there is anybody really in your way, right? Yes, there can be power struggles that go on. There can be people trying to manipulate you, right? But right now, it's like it's up to you to be making the decisions that you want to make for you, right? And I will say this, that if you are really like not happy in a relationship, if you're not really happy in like your job, right, then you don't have to stay there, right? It is wise for if you're in a job and you don't like it there, right? It is wise for you to have another job before you leave, right? That's really just kind of like common sense, right? But like you said, like so when I see pentacles, right, those are things that are connected to like work, physical things, um, right? But it's not necessarily about like your money. It can be related to the things that you're working on, whether you're working on relationships, whether you're working on yourself, whether you're working on like, whatever it is, right? Creative projects, whatever it is that you're working on, right? This is like saying that there's a lot of potential that is happening here for you, but for you to be focused, for you to put whatever those things are, whatever it is that is running around the back of your head, putting those things into action over the course of the next like 8 weeks, right? And things are starting to manifest for you, that there is going to be these kind of like stepping stones, that there is clarity here, right? And do not focus on the power struggles, do not focus on the limitations and restrictions, do not focus on the people who are telling you that you cannot, right? This is the thing I love about the Hermit card, right? Is that it is our card, right? It is a card is ruled by Virgo. So this is just what I attribute to the Hermit card, is that so, and if you're here watching this, then it is something that you can take this for yourself as well, right? This is a situation that I say, all these people can say, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't, right? My thing is, yeah, well, let me show you how I can, right? So this is somebody that leads by example, right? This guy, right, this hermit here, he's wandering around in the dark with this lamp. He could only see like a few feet in front of him. He is moving forward, right? He is somebody that is a leader. He's at the top of this mountain here. He has reached the summit. He's made all this progress in his life. He does not see, because he's wandering around in the dark, right? He doesn't see the people who he is teaching, because he is teaching by example. He is leading by example. He's just out doing his thing, right? He is a sage, right? He has wisdom through his experiences. And that is really who you are in the process of becoming. You're either there, you're in the process of becoming that, right? There are a lot of people here who are watching this who have overcome so many obstacles around your life, right? Like psychically, I can see like so many of you, like I'm watching like thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there who have overcome their obstacles, right? If you're in this place where you have not overcome your obstacles, if you're in this place where you cannot see how that is something that can happen for you, you're looking at the wrong people. You're getting advice from the wrong people. look at what this is like saying here, right? For those people, if you feel like you're stuck, if you're in this place like, oh, I'm never going to make it, I can't get out of here, I'm stuck in the hood, right? Whatever, right? Stop listening to people telling you that you can't, right? Because it is not true, right? I have run into so many people who have this negative mindset, right? And you see it on TV all the time, right? And I don't care if it's like black people or white people or whatever the color of your skin is, right? Like black people, like, oh, like I'm never gonna get out of the hood, right? Like these obstacles, like, you know, whatever it is, right? But like I've seen like white people have that too, right? So it doesn't matter the color of your skin, right? Look at the people who have done it, right? Look for leaders, look for people who have done what you think is impossible, right? I may be like typical white guy look, right? I didn't grow up in a hood, right? But I definitely was in this place. Like I was ready to be dead when I was 14, right? I was ready to be out, right? I didn't do that. I had people who I could see that have overcome their obstacles, right? So you don't have to stay in those places, right? And I am definitely somebody who put like one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. Sometimes it was 3 steps back. Sometimes it's like 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, right? And then like a few more steps forward, 2 steps back, right? Whatever. It's like, but the idea is to not give up, right? If you give up, then that's you, right? That's not anybody else making you give up. That is you, right? This is like your strength. This is your fortitude. This is you having an ability to be able to move forward. Your wish is here. This is the completion of an emotional cycle here, right? There's clarity, there's healing going on here, right? There's victory, right? The Chariot is not so much like the card of victory, but he's left all this crap behind him. So it is really up to you, right? For you to make the decision, right? I use the Eight of Swords for making decisions that overwhelm you. I use the Seven of Swords about thinking that things are going to be the same as they have always been, right? The Seven of Swords is a card about somebody looking to the past. Even the bottom of the deck, Six of Swords is moving forward, right? See if I can find Seven of Swords in here. For those of you who don't know the cards, right? So this guy is moving forward, right? But he's looking at his past. He's looking at where he's coming from. This is another card about tactics, right? It's a card connected to lying, cheating, stealing, right? But it's like winning a war by way of tactics, right? But that's one of the ways that I see it now. I usually see this card as it's like it's someone who's focused on the past, right? They're walking forward, but they're looking at their past, right? So it's like they have all these ideas, right? But they're stuck with the ideas from the past, right? That's what they're holding on to, right? They're holding all of these ideas from the past, but there are new ideas that are sitting over here, right? Things that they could actually pick up and use. Two of Swords, right? There's a card that's sitting here making a decision, right? So it's like somebody that looks at the past and thinks that they're going to have everything that they have always gotten, right? But the Eight of Swords is a card that is like, let's make a decision to move ourselves forward, right? That we're going to make major decisions around our life. It's not really going to be easy. We don't really see how we're going to be able to do that, but we're going to take off this mask and we're going to see how we're going to do this. So that's where that is like coming from. let's see what else we have going on here. What other kind of messages Spirit has to say? So, and like I said, this is like something that can be about relationships. It's something that can be about whatever it is that you're working on, right? If you think that you're never going to find like the one, right? Like the relationship thing, then your focus, like this is the nature of addiction, right? Is like you're only focused on the ones that you're only focused on the ones that were horrible. You're only focused on the ones that didn't work out, right? And I just want to say like congratulations, because whatever you put out is what you get back, right? If you're angry because you keep meeting these like same people, right? That anger is going to keep you, right? The wheel of fortune, right? Getting off of the merry-go-round, right? Like choose differently, do something different, right? You do not have to stay in those relationships, right? We're getting more clarity here, right? This is a time period where it's like you really need to focus on whatever it is that is creating healing for you, right? Whatever the planets are that are happening out there, right? They are lining up for you to overcome whatever your obstacles are about, right? However, the Seven of Wands there, right? You have to be persistent. You can't give up, right? That's the key right now, right? The planets out there, the things are lining up here for victory for you, right? The things are lining up here for you to leave the drama behind you, right? That's what the Chariot is. It's like he's leaving the city, right? So these are cards here that can talk about like you actually like making a move, making a change around where it is that you live, right? This is a guy going on an adventure. So your wish card is like sitting right here, right? It's a completion. In case you didn't hear it, Nine of Cups is the wish card, right? But it's like whatever you're putting out there, right? If you keep saying the same thing, that becomes your wish, right? And then you're going to get what it is that you've always gotten, right? However, the Nine of Cups, it's a nine. So this is a completion of a cycle, right? It's a completion of an emotional cycle, right? Your job is to stay focused on what it is that you want. And as long as you're staying focused, there will be clarity coming up around you about how to overcome your obstacles. Right? Let go of things. This guy, right? He's going on this adventure looking out into the world, right? He was connected to this wand over here. He let this go. Now he's connected to this one, right? He let go of the past. Another card about someone letting go of the past. This guy is standing on the top of his castle, right? Looking out there, getting ready to go on an adventure, right? He's looking out into the world and being like, oh, where can I go? What am I doing? Where do I want to be? Stuff like that, right? Twos are about relationships, right? So this does seem like it is about relationships, but not just about like boyfriend, girlfriend, 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 boyfriend, boyfriend kind of relationships. It's like all about like the relationships that you're dealing with in all areas of your life, right? And it's really asking you, for you, right here in the middle, Hermit card, that's us, ruled by the sign of Virgo. It's really asking us to be true to ourselves, look at things where we have overcome, right? Like, and it doesn't have to be big things, right? It doesn't mean that like, you know, it doesn't mean that you're graduated college or had a, it doesn't mean that you have a PhD, right? But it's asking you to look at what is it that you have overcome, right? Because whatever it is that you have overcome, you can teach another person how to overcome that. And like I said, if you don't think that you have, right, you're looking in the wrong direction. Because I will tell you this, even if you're 5 years old, right, it took a lot of courage to get to 5. Right? You have 4 years of experience, right? And now you're 5. Right? So you have this experience in your life. How did you get from point A to point B? Right? You have overcome something in your life. You just have to look at what it is. So it's about perspective. So I'm kind of surprised that like the Hangman card didn't show up, because that is about changing your perspective. But we will see what it is that shows up around here. What are these? So again, we have the Knight of Wands, and we have the Four of Wands. So Four of Wands is like, generally people use this as a card about they use it as a card about celebration, right? Other people recently, I've been seeing them talk about this as 1111. So this is it's a major karma number, and would be related to new kind of beginnings. However, it is 4, right? This is a card that I use for changing home, right? It's kind of about stability, things like that, right? It's like you doing the work, right? Pentacles, you doing the work to move forward into a place of stability. And this is usually a card that takes place over the course of the next like 4 weeks, right? So I see other readers on YouTube, and they wait for cards to jump out, and like usually when I shuffle, that doesn't really happen so much. But since I've been started this YouTube channel, that's been going on, and I don't necessarily wait for that to take place, because it's not something that I've done, right? So as a collective, what number are we choosing? 1, 2, 3, or 4? As a collective, think about what number. It's like, all right, so there's a few people that are saying 4. There's more people than a few saying 3, but I feel like most people here are saying number 2. So, which is interesting. All right. So, how weird is that, right? 7 of Swords. That's like, you saw me shuffling the cards, right? So again, tactics, right? Things that are hidden, right? The thing about the Moon card, right, is that it does have these 2 like obelisks here in the background, right? It's like the crab, right? This card is ruled by sign of Pisces, so like, which is interesting, because the 7 of Cups is a card which we don't have. The 7 of Cups, that's weird, whatever. Okay, but this is ruled by Pisces. So again, it's a very emotional kind of like a time period right now, right? But these 2 towers in the background here, right? This little like lobster here, go on, little lobster, right? It's about a shelled animal, right? So shells are about like they are about protection, right? But this is about things that are hidden. It is trusting your instincts, right? But it's everything here is about moving forward, right, down this path, right? Moving forward down this path over here, through the pylons, through the obelisks, whatever it is you want to call them, right? Keep going, doing whatever it is that you're doing, right? So you may have to use like tactics, right, in order to get there, right? But also being aware if people are like lying, cheating, and stealing from you, right? Trusting your instincts around those things, right? So Can be new information coming in here. Sometimes the Page of Swords brings up things about people having a little bit of an attitude, right? So swords are related to the mind, right? Part of me feels like there's a lot of like Mars energy in this, even though this is air, right? So Mars is having like a very active life right now. So it can bring up things where you want to like say things to people, right? Trying to like, you know, like you don't need to be going to war, right? In order to be able to make your point, right? You don't need to be having big major arguments with people, right? You can just make a decision about what it is you want to do, right? And then go forward and do your life, right? So um this is about communication. Things are happening like swiftly right now as well. Right? Again, devil card, right? So this is about thinking about the limitations and restrictions, thinking about, you know, if you're having an attitude, right, it's because you're thinking about this is about communication, writing, speaking, thinking, thinking about the limitations and restrictions, thinking about the problems, right? Also, the devil card is ruled by a sign of the devil card is ruled by a sign of Capricorn, right? And this is communication, therefore Mercury, right? So Mercury is in the sign of Capricorn right now, right? So it's about like our ruling planet being put into this place that is about structure, right? So there is going to be more clarity here by way of structure, right? You are being asked to have more structure around your life, right? At least as far as like communication is concerned, anyway, right? Because we're sitting here talking about focus, right? So we're talking around what it is that we're trying to build here. So talk about the structure of how you want your life to be. Right? So we do have the Ace of Cups here, right? Which is about new emotional beginnings, which is what we're talking about. Knight of Cups over here, right? So we may very well be looking at things in terms of like a vacation. Sometimes the Ace of Cups can be related to a home, right? It's a new emotional beginning, right? But the Ace of Cups here is a card that talks about aces are about the self, right? So it is about like whatever it is that you're doing, the structure and focusing on the things that you want for your own self emotionally, right? So I was talking about this earlier, right? It's like this dove here, he has a Eucharist and he's putting in this cup and the cup is overflowing, right? So what this is talking about is there's like, it talks about like gratitude, right? But it talks about like putting like a little bit of effort, right? The size of a Eucharist. It's about putting a little bit of effort, a little bit of like structure into the things that you want out of an emotional situation in order to gain some sort of like emotional abundance. Sometimes when I see the Ace of Cups shows up, it says that whatever it is that you're trying to do, you didn't have to look at how you're trying to feed yourself emotionally. Right? Can be again, this card is ruled by it's ruled by the sign of Aries. Again, Mars. Right? This guy here, he's putting when I see the Knight of Wands, I look at like where it is he's putting his energy into, right? This is about putting energy into burdens, problems, responsibilities, right? But the Ten of Wands is a card about a completion, right? It's like he's almost home, right? You can see the guy's house in the background there. He's almost home, right? This is a card about a harvest, right? So he's putting his energy into like, I'm getting there, I'm almost over the line, right? So winning, right? see, Seven of Cups, right? That's what we're talking about. So Seven of Cups, and like we're talking about like Piscean energy here, right? This is kind of about like somebody that has like a lot of like choices that they have to make, emotional choices, right? And they want you to choose wisely, right? It can be difficulty around the choices, right? Because it can be like too many choices, right? But it's like if you're sitting here thinking about the limitations and restrictions around things, looking at why things aren't right, and as opposed to why they are right, it can definitely like limit your choices, right? So um again, pages are about communication, right? So this is like somebody who is like there is communication here about like emotions, right? And again, we have this card about persistence, right? So there is definitely some sort of a new thing that is trying to happen around here, right? But it's after the Sun card again, right? Nine of Cups again. How many times do we want to bring it up, right? This guy that I watch on YouTube, he's like, when cards repeat themselves, it's like I said what I said. Right? So what this is here is still talking about things that you're not able to see, having an attitude, thinking about the limitations and restrictions, right? Putting energy into the problems, burdens, responsibilities, right? Making all this effort, right? And it's like sometimes the choices that you're seeing are not necessarily like, you know, they're not necessarily all the right things that you should be choosing, right? So it is a thing about like choosing wisely. I mean, not all of these choices are good choices, right? But it's like it's important that you like choose wisely, and sometimes you choosing wisely can be difficult, right? But you want to choose wisely because you are like almost at the finish line, right? And then there is going to be a sense of like calmness here, like emotionally, right? And I think this is a lot about talking to like it could very well be having things happen connected to younger people around your life, right? I think there's stuff that's going on connected to like the third house being activated astrologically. Um, so this is stuff that's connected to like younger people, children, like whatever. It's like either talking about thinking about like younger people, and sometimes the younger people are not necessarily just like they're not necessarily just like five, right? It's like sometimes they could be like emotionally immature as well, right? So it's still showing here about you being able to move forward into a place of clarity, into a place of healing, right? Especially if you're looking to travel places, right? Because that's what this feels like to me, right? But your wish is here, right? So you are going to be able to overcome the things that are being in your way, and I feel like a lot of things that are in your way is really like you, right? I keep getting that information here. Spirit keeps telling me it's like, you're sitting here, you're trying to rejuvenate, you're trying to be like young again, things like that, right? Which is like a rejuvenation kind of a thing, right? So, but it's like there are these cards here that talk about like fighting with other people, and you don't need to be fighting with other people, right? Like, trust me, like I've done that for like decades. It is really, uh, it was like so painful, right? So painful fighting with other people. I mean, recently I have removed a whole bunch of people out of my life. It is like so much calmer. I don't have the drama, right? It is up to you for you to decide who it is that you want in your life, who you don't want in your life, what kind of drama is there, what kind of drama, right? And drama can be addicting, right? Some people are addicted to anger, some people are addicted to the drama, right? It's not necessarily just about like drugs, alcohol, things like that. Some people are addicted to food, some people are addicted to like bad behavior, right? Like television, whatever it is, right? I'm not saying like television is bad, right? I'm not saying that it is inherently bad, but if it is a way that you're escaping, which television has been my escape since I was a child, right? So that's why I'm bringing that up, right? But this is asking you to be able to take care of yourself. Look at like how the structure of things are happening around your life and how the structure is trying to change, right? Because you are being led in a good direction here, right? Spirit feels like they are coming through like really like very strongly, right? They're telling me to tell you, like, look for signs about things. If you're asking questions, look for signs. Trust the signs that you're getting. I really should probably make a video just about that. Um, so we'll see what's going to go on with that. See the celebration here, right? This is all about like looking at your options, right? Healing taking place. There's a big change happening here, right? Connected to family, right? And completion of a cycle, right? Ten of Cups is related. I call it like marriage, happiness, family, right? Whether it is like family of origin, whether it's family of choice, right? This guy's called satiety, right? There's a lot of like big emotional. There's a lot of like big emotional healing things that are happening around here, right? You're completing a cycle around your life, and there could very well be travel like outside of the country as well, right? The world card does mean that like world, right? It's a kind of a completion of a cycle. It's the completion of a fool's journey. I use it also as a kind of about recognition, people recognizing you for your talents, right? Especially if you are like, you know, part of this thing here, right, is about it could very well be like in a place where you've done a lot of like healing. This is kind of about alchemy, right? You could very well be looking at like, getting married if you have like found the one, right? Um, because there is clarity coming up around here. So, um, and there is like celebration here as well. So, when I see the temperance card show up in a reading for like a one-on-one thing, um, I do use it as about alchemy. So it could be looking at how like when I look at it in terms of like work, job, career, things like that, right? It's like mixing. It's a lot about mixing two different things that don't necessarily go together, have it become a third thing, right? Like this person here is mixing things in this cup, right? So this kind of is also ruled by the sign of Sagittarius. So um so it could very well be a Sagittarian being around you, right? Um, who is trying to help you, right? But again, we have like the angel Gabriel here trying to help you in terms of like healing, right? um, Although Raphael is usually the angel about like healing, right? But anyway, whatever it is, there's an angel in this healing, right? So, and we all have our own like personal angels anyway, right? So there is that. But this is a card about alchemy. When this card shows up, I usually look at people and their health, right? And it can be a lot of changes that are trying to happen like internally. So this is a card that can be directly related to your diet, right? Paying attention to what it is that you're putting in your body, right? Right, and we do have this the devil card there, right? So again, looking at like addiction, right? but it's like whatever it is that you're putting in your body, right? Releasing like toxins, things like that, right? And there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of healing, there's a lot of clarity coming up around here, right? And there's a lot of stuff that happens here connected to rejuvenation. It's like pretty intense, right? I gotta say, Virgo, it's like things that are happening here, right? It is super, super intense, right? And for those of you who thought that coming into the world and being a child was intense, right? This feels like it feels like I'm being a child again, and it feels like we're having that same sort of like intensity going on. Right? I think that like a lot of you are probably experiencing more more kinds of like psychic ability happening with you. I'm being brought to this place very much about like, so I operate as an empath anyway, but I'm looking at the collective, right? And I'm looking at how like so much of you can feel like you're on fire, right? And it's like feeling like you're on fire because your spirit is being activated, right? It's like their spirit is telling me that we as a collective are going through a big kind of like detox, right? So we're not talking about just individual people here. We're feeling like the whole planet is going through a detox, right? We're talking about how, as a collective, right, it's very much about this situation, which we brought up earlier, right? About whether you're raising your vibration, whether you're talking about uh, being on a different timeline, whether you're talking about going from 3D to 5D, right? Whatever that conversation is about. I don't really follow that. So I'm not really a sorry. Historically, historically, if you know me, I have not been all this like love and light kind of woohoo kind of thing. I have been prone to cynicism and jadedness and all of that, right? Um, Spirit is releasing me from this, and like I have been asking and asking and asking, and a lot of healing, and I'm getting to this place where it's like, okay, like we're being done with that, right? This is about how we're starting a new cycle around our life. Again, Queen of Swords is here, right? You can go back and review that again, like letting go of the past, being clear about where it is that you want to be. Five of Swords says stop fighting, right? This is kind of about fear of defeat, right? So putting all the swords down and stop fighting. So it's up to you, right? Are you going to fight? It's interesting. The devil card is up there, right? It's like you can fight for your limitations, right? Or you can stop fighting and allow, right? The way to manifest the things that you want is for you to allow the spirit to bring things to you, for you, etc. It's like having to allow healing to take place, right? Allow, like, stop fighting and allow happiness to come into your life, right? If you decide, right, being open to all possibilities, that's a Fool card, right? Taking a leap of faith, right? Celebration, right? Since the time period of our birthday, Fool card usually brings up things related to like somebody's birthday time period, or things like that. Um, Looking at options around different ways of healing, I would tell you this: that whatever way you are looking into healing. One foot in front of the other, right? Whatever way you're looking into doing it is going to be good, right? Because one thing will lead to another, will lead to another, will lead to another. But this feels like, as a collective, that we have been asking, and I will say this. The spirit is telling me that they have been coming into your dream time, right? So be aware of right. So the sun and the moon are connected, right? The sun can be related to clairvoyance, right? The moon can also be related to clairvoyance because dreams are connected to clairvoyance, right? Clairvoyance is about seeing things clearly, right? So clairvoyance is usually something that happens during the day, having visions, right? Things like that. And sometimes it happens when people are in daydream mode, right? But if your head is too busy in the course of the day, and like spirit can't get a word in edgewise to you, then they will bring things to you in your dreams. Things will happen in your subconscious, right? And they're saying, like, be aware of these like deja vu moments, right? Because that would be spirit talking to you in your dream time, and then you're experiencing it in the waking hours of the day. So they're like, and I think that this is a message for the collective. Okay, I will say this, but also as a Virgo, I will tell you that this is my life. And I think this is one of the reasons why I've been procrastinating about this reading, because sometimes when I do readings, they deliver messages that are like specifically for me, but this is for the collective, right? And it's like, you have been asking like your whole life, right? Show me, show me, show me, right? I want this, like, show me how to get here. I want this, show me how to get there. I want this, show me how to get there, right? So they're telling me that they are showing you, but if you're not paying attention, right? If you are in this place where you think, right? One of the first cards up there, right? The Emperor, right? All about control. I feel personally attacked. Because I am definitely a control freak type person. Um, so if you are somebody that thinks that you know how things are meant to go, how they're meant to unfold for you, I want this, I want this, I want this. This is how I want this to manifest, right? And then being mad because that's not happening. So then you keep like fighting, right? In order to get that thing to happen, you're going to sabotage your life, because spirit is trying to have, spirit has its own timeline. They have their own ways of doing things, and they are having things manifest for you in the way that they want them to manifest for you. Because like sometimes it's like, I'm kind of surprised that like the six of Pentacles didn't show up, because um is it Six of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles? Six of Pentacles. So in this other deck that I use, the Six of Pentacles is a boardroom, right? So it is about balance, like it is about gratitude, money, finances, things like that, right? It's kind of about financial success. I use this card a lot about like a boardroom, and more about a spiritual boardroom, meaning that like all of your guides sitting around the table, and trying to work out what is best for you in order for you to be able to get where it is that you want to get to, right? So it's about things happening behind the scenes, and it's like, so you can't see, right? The moon card, right? You can't see how spirit is doing things like for you, right? You're busy being in your head thinking that this is how this is supposed to go, right? But it's not necessarily happening that way. So it's like you really have to give yourself a break and stop yelling at the universe that you want things to happen in this way. If you're looking for a relationship, right? Like I've had to stop trying to choose a relationship because I do not choose wisely, right? Or historically, I have not chosen wisely. I am heading into a new phase of my life, and there's like strong potential where I will be able to, right? But I tell people, oh, this is one more thing that I'm not in control of, right? I have given up control, right? Control is an illusion anyway. So stop fighting with. I've told people, like, I am somebody that fights with God, but God always wins, right? So stop fighting, right? Allow things to manifest in the way that they're going to manifest, right? You focus on what it is that you want, meditate. This is on the outcome, right? Meditate and focus on the outcome, not how you're getting there, right? Not in the timeline that you're getting there, right? Because there are things happening behind the scenes that you can't really see. You know, things are working out, right? And that is a mantra that I have taken on. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. We're going to close with this. Such a cliche you are. So you're delivering the messages. Bright blessings upon your soul. they're trying to be saccharine sweet because they know how much I dislike that. Bright blessings upon your soul, dear traveler. Spirit never talks to me like that. Like, oh, dear ones, blah, blah, blah. They never talk to me like that. So they're just trying to have fun. And that is a message that try to have fun in your life. Right? Do something to laugh. Right? Find laughter in anything and everything that you can. Right? Virgos, it's like we are way too serious of a species. Takes a very special person to be a Virgo. Took me a long time. It took me like 40 years to be okay with being a Virgo. The whole like analyzing things to death, the whole like just all of it, right? Trying to like not be a Virgo, it's not going to work. Relax. Frankie goes to Hollywood. Relax, don't do it. Let's step to it. Like I don't know, Spirit's been like singing to me for a while now, and I'm not sure why that is happening these days. But anyway, try to have some fun in your life, Virgo. I was going to say you only live once, but that's not even true. So good luck. Have an adventure, but have fun. Okay? Have fun. Thank you for joining me. Again, click like, share, subscribe, all of that. Right? I would like to be able to do like live videos on here and I can't do that until the subscription thing. The people subscribe until there's a particular number there or something, whatever it's all about. So I hope you enjoyed this, right? Ultimately, that's what this is, right? If I get followers, I get followers. If I don't, I don't. I'm not in charge. I'm just here to deliver messages to the collective. So I just want you really to have like your best life ever. Best life ever, Virgo. So laugh and have fun. Ciao.